Hey Libras, I hope you guys are doing great. We're here to do your self-love reading for whenever you are drawn to this message. We're going to take a peek at where you currently are on your self-love journey and see how you can better honor yourself going forward. So jumping right into where you currently are, how you kind of view yourself, we have the Fool in reverse. Libra, it feels like you are very hesitant to sort of take the next step in your chapter. There seems to be a little bit of fear that's happening for you. And we have that clarified by the Four of Inspiration or the Four of Wands in reverse. It feels as though there's a little bit of uncertainty about your next steps, about whether or not you're on the right path for what it is that you want. I don't think that you have the foundation that you have been looking for, that you've been working towards up until this point. It feels very much as though it's almost like intuitively, you know that there's a gateway for you to walk through, but it's kind of like, well, where's the damn door? How do I get there? I don't understand what's happening right now. Like, where is it? So it feels like a bit of instability, even though Libra, it's interesting. I feel like things are overall okay, but there's this sense that's within you that there's something greater, that there's something more. You just haven't sort of figured out the code to unlock how to get there and what it is that you may need to do differently. And so it almost feels like right now you're in a place of analysis paralysis when it comes to what it is that you need to tap into within yourself, or whether or not you even have it to tap into to sort of get to that next level, that next iteration of your life. And so it feels as though there are some points where you just sort of are not doing anything, right? So in terms of how you sort of prioritize your own needs, or things that, things that may be keeping you from taking care of you and doing what you need to do, we have the Page of Voices or the Page of Swords in reverse. And we also have Awakening in reverse. And so it feels like right now, Libra, again, going back to what we saw in where you are and how you kind of view yourself right now, we have that analysis paralysis, right? There doesn't seem to be a lot of clarity on what your next steps should be. And so there's this sense of, well, I'm just not going to do anything then, so there's this sort of lack of movement because there's a lack of clarity. It's like, I'm not sure what I need to do for me to get to this place that I envision, that I dream of. I think it all boils down to you not necessarily having had that aha moment that you may have been looking for. It's almost as if, you're waiting for that light bulb over your head to turn on and say, oh, this is what I need to do for me to be able to get, from where I am to where it is that I want to be in life. It's like, it just hasn't quite clicked yet. And so in not having that sort of guidance to have a defined path moving forward, it doesn't feel like you're moving very much at all. So in terms of, showing yourself that you are worthy of, that you have things to sort of tap into, we have the Tower in reverse and we have the Queen of Materials. So I feel like throughout all of this, Libra, you have been, even if you haven't necessarily been supporting yourself or making moves for yourself, that there's been pretty consistency, this feeling of you being there for people around you. It's almost as if you don't know what to do with yourself, but you're totally fine when it comes to other people. Like, you can see their paths, you can see their direction, you can see how you can be most helpful for them. but for some reason you don't necessarily apply that same sort of logic, that same sort of attitude to yourself. And so I feel like Spirit is saying that, you know, maybe it's time to make some gradual shifts, right? In terms of treating yourself the way that you treat other people. And that might mean dialing back your energy a little bit and reframing the thoughts that you have for yourself in the same way that you have thoughts about other people and what they're working on, what they're trying to accomplish. With the King of Swords, this is you, you know, sort of speaking truth to yourself. You know, there might be instances where you look at the people who are around you and say, well, why is it that they're able to do this? Why is it that they're able to do that? Because you're helping them. Because you're helping them. You've given all of your support to them, and I don't see you giving that same level of support and affirmation to yourself. So I think that for you, Libras, an important part of your self-love journey is speaking those positive things, those positive affirmations into yourself in the same way that you speak them into other people. You are no less deserving. And I think that it's going to take a bit of consistency. You know, this is not going to be a switch that flips overnight. You know, this sort of aha moment that you're looking for. It feels as though this is going to be a more gradual training for yourself, where you might wake up in the morning and, you know, the first thing that you say is, I am abundant. Today is going to be extraordinary. I am going to be blessed by the universe. Whatever affirmations get you going that's believable to you, I think that it's going to be a gradual buildup. It's going to take a little bit of practice for you to start bringing in that energy that you have for other people. Now, in terms of showing up more authentically in your life, we have the 10 of Voices, which is the 10 of Swords. So this is sort of acknowledging disappointment that you've experienced, right? And we also have the 2 of Voices, or the 2 of Swords, clarifying. This is you sort of coming to a crossroads, right? And making a bit of a decision on whether or not you want to continue in this disappointing energy that you've experienced before, whether or not you want to continue comparing yourself to other people, or if you want to take a different path, right? We have clarifying, we have the 6 of Wands, and we also have the 5 of Cups. So I think that right now, how you can sort of show up more authentically as yourself, because Libra, I don't believe that you're a pessimist by nature. I think that over time, looking at other people's successes, looking at other people's victories has called into question the ability for you to have your own. So I feel like, you know, for you to move forward in a way that honors yourself is to acknowledge disappointments that you've had, to process any feeling of regrets that you could have done things differently, should have done things differently, might have taken advantage of opportunities and things of that nature. But this is you sort of making that conscious decision to move forward to achievement, to accomplishment. And I think, again, this comes back to you affirming yourself in the same way that you have grown to consistently affirm other people around you. I just heard eye on the prize. So I think that if you use, you know, your final destination as your guide point and pour into you and keep affirming that, yes, you can actually have that, it's going to create this shift where you live in a way that's more conducive to you actually achieving those goals instead of being in this place of disappointment. So one of the things that you may consider letting go, we have the Queen of Voices or the Queen of Swords, and we also have the the Ace of Wands in reverse. And so I think that there, Libra, may have been a little bit of negative self-talk when it comes to how you deal with you and your feelings. So there's this sense of saying, oh, this is never going to work out. I'm never going to have what I want to. I feel like Spirit is saying that it's time to leave that negative self-talk in the past. This is now you stepping into this place of self-affirmation in a positive way. So any of those doubts that you would tell yourself, that little voice in your head that keeps lying to you, saying that you can't have what it is that you have your eye on, ignore it. It's time to leave that. It's time to leave that in the past, because there's a lot of goodness that's waiting for you, but you have to make that shift internally to believe that it's true. And this is it's going to be a gradual shift with the Tower in reverse. This is something that's not sudden. This is not something that's overnight. This is not a lightning strike. This is a very conscious practice that you're going to have to engage in that's going to show the results over time. So it's going to take a certain level of consistency and affirming yourself to get to where it is that you want to be. But we're leaving this negative self-talk behind. We're leaving that in the past. Something that you may not be aware of, that's hidden, that you might need to know, is that going forward, we have the Muse of Inspiration, or the King of Wands, and we also have the Moon in reverse. So there's going to, through all of this work that you're doing, through all of this self-affirmation, there's going to be a spark that's reignited in your life. It's going to be something coming in that is a really good indicator that you are on the right path. And that path is going to become illuminated for you with the Moon in reverse. Typically upright, the Moon is all about sort of muddiness. It's about, darkness, not having that clarity that you're looking for. You're going to get that clarity. And there's going to be something coming in that's incredibly exciting for you. So make sure that you stay in this energy of believing all things possible. And not just for other people, but for yourself. So, I think that Libra, you've spent a lot of time being everybody else's cheerleader. And now it's time for you to sort of become your own. So what we have in terms of the final messages from Spirit, the first card out we have is deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. So this is you, I think, not shutting anybody out, but this is you sort of dialing back and taking that energy that you've given to other people and putting it back into yourself. This is replenishing your own energetic stores. This is you filling yourself up with so many good affirmations that it's impossible for you to think anything otherwise. Like there is no other outcome for you than the outcome that you're looking for. This is you now embracing yourself just as much as you've done for other people, because you have a path, Libra, that you look forward to. You have dreams that you want to come to fruition. And so it's going to be up to you to speak that into your own existence instead of just being sort of that person who is always speaking other people's dreams into existence for them. Now, the final card that we have out is no judgment. I release myself from any and all judgments. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? So again, Libra, this goes right back to what it is that you need to leave behind. This inner critic, this negative self-talk, this doubt that you may have let sort of creep into your dreams and your goals, right? There is nothing for you to criticize. If you want a 150-foot yacht, that voice inside of you saying, you don't need a yacht that big. Why don't you just go ahead and get a little canoe? Don't listen to it. You don't need a canoe unless that's what you want. But if you want a 150-foot yacht, go get your 150-foot yacht. There is nothing and nobody in this world that should be able to tell you otherwise, especially you. So find that inner critic and tell them to go on about their business, because you have big things to do, Libra. So I'm going to leave it there for you. I hope that this was helpful and I hope that it resonated. If it did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. But in the meanwhile, stay safe, stay healthy, and I am sending you all huge hugs.